Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Underhood Show. My name's Josh Profit. Alongside me this morning, I have Scotty Gurman. Good morning, Scotty.
Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing?
Sunny and 70, as they say. Okay, fine.
That's what you say.
Sunny and 70, as I say. So it's always a figment of my imagination sometimes, but that's okay.
Yep.
It's all about outlook and perspective.
Exactly.
So, you could be in the coldest of climates, and if that's what you like, then
Absolutely.
then it's not a bad thing.
Glass half full kind of a guy.
That is 100% how that goes. Yep. So, hey, good morning, everybody. This is a call-in show. So the number's down here on the corner, 316-462-3673. That's a number to jump on the air here with us. You want to talk about anything automotive related, check engine lights, tires, brakes, batteries, maintenance intervals, new vehicle products, cars acting or doing something weird, and want some advice as to what direction to head, that'd be great. Or if you want to teach us something, hey, that's cool too. 316-462-3673 is the number to jump on the air here with us, and we'll answer your questions. So Scotty is one of the service consultants here at the dealership, and then I'm the director for service on parts and service side of things. And again, got a lot of years of experience in this business and helping customers and stuff like that. And again, here to take your calls and answer any questions you may have. But for each and every caller that calls into the show, we'll send you out a package which consists of the works, which is an oil change and tire rotation. We use Motorcraft oil and filter products here at Mel Hambelton Ford. We'll also complete a multi-point inspection on that vehicle, checking over the brakes, tires, steering, suspension, all the safety-related components, just making sure that it's ready to go for that next 5,000 miles of driving. You'll also get yourself $10 to Mel's Diner, so you can get yourself something to eat and drink while you're here with us at the Big Corner. Complete nitrogen for your tires, so you get all the great benefits that nitrogen has to offer. And then a BG products package, which consists of a can of MOA or motor oil additive for your engine oil. And then 44K for the fuel system. Again, just getting that vehicle geared up and ready to go for that next 5,000 miles of driving. So let's get the phones ringing so we can talk about what you want to talk about instead of what we got. So I've got a list of a couple things. Let's call them thought starters, so to speak.
Okay.
And as we so you're now writing service, obviously for both shops, but predominantly down now at the Quick Lane facility.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things, obviously different in regards to the two different locations or the two different shops, way more maintenance type related, kind of quick, easy in, easy out type stuff as versus more technical stuff on the main store service side. One of the things I wanted to talk about today is so during this time of the year, I mean, we work with multiple schools or trade schools, throughout the entire year. But it is really in preparation for like a summer internship or people that are maybe even graduating and ready to start their career into this industry and stuff like that. And so, we'll have over a summer intern, we'll easily have 4 or 5 or 6 type of apprenticed or intern guys that are coming in to decide, okay, well, one, is this the industry that I want to be in, not be in, stuff like that. And so I got my brain going this morning of whether it's automotive related or not. If you're calling or listening to the show, I want you to call in and say, okay, what was your very first job?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Regardless of, what, whether it's automotive related or not, but what was your very first job? Did you end up continuing into that field? And then to tie it into automotive related, how did you get to that very first job? Okay. And so when I say job, it could be, a summer job. It's something you got paid for.
Okay. Because I was about ready.
Yeah. You had to get paid for it. And although, many people going into or starting out of a high school or whatever, they may work over a summer,
Yeah.
something that they took taxes out of your paycheck. How about let's even say it that way.
That's fine.
Okay. You good with that?
I'm fine with that.
And so, again, one of those things, whether, first of all, I'd be curious to know how many people, start into an industry just as to have something to do.
Yeah.
And that's 100% what happened to me, in the sense of, so I'll kind of go first here, I guess, is I grew up on a very, very small farm, like not
Amish.
enough to Amish, yes. Not enough to produce anything. It was a hobby farm for all intents purposes. And obviously got to kind of sophomore year, stuff like that, and high school just absolutely was not my thing. I did not learn in that environment, in the classroom environment, and just itching to get out of there. And so we had trade schools that you could go to your junior and senior year if you, if one, you had to have decent enough grades in high school. I went to Haven High, but the trade schools was at the Hutchinson Community College. And I thought, if I can get out of freaking class for half a day, I'm gone, And so ended up doing that. And I had worked for a farmer over the summer, a couple of different summers uh, previous to my junior year. So I don't know if you would, I mean, I did get paid for it. It was really minimal. It was just a couple miles down the road. I mean, there was days I rode a bike. There was days my grandpa would let me use, we had an old farm truck. There was days he'd let me do that. There was days that the guy I worked for would let me take one of the farm vehicles back and forth, stuff like that. And so I don't know as that necessarily really counts, but in order to do that, we were able to, between a little bit of assistance from my parents, we got a car that had to work on, and then then in turn got me to go to the Hutchinson Community College. Well, obviously, growing up on a farm, stuff was broke all the time, and so when it got to come time to pick a trade, mechanic kind of seemed to be, or the auto shop kind of seemed to be the place to go. And it was never really a career thought, or I couldn't honestly tell you even to this day what it was that I was gonna do, but that's what I ended up in. And then from there, needed an actual job.
Yeah.
And the instructor at the auto shop, talking with him one day, is like, okay, we'll go here and interview, or go talk to this guy. And so he had set me up with the Chevrolet dealer in Hutchinson, which at the time Phil was the service manager over there. And so I went and talked to him and got hired on there. And it was just kind of one thing led to the other, and here you go. And so, for all intents and purposes, really just kind of fell into the industry, for sure. But it's it's the automotive industry is something that is always it's always changing, it's always evolving. Like, there's new products. Like, I just enjoy the challenge of every day is something different.
That's
absolutely true. Every day is something different. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's a good different, and sometimes it's a bad different, but you hang around and wait, and it'll change back up. And so but hey, for all you listeners out there that are getting started, the question was, automotive related or not, what was your first job? Did you end up kind of what you're doing now still involved around your first job? And then to tie it into automotive related is, how'd you get to and from that first job? And so again, 316-462-3673. Like to hear from you and know, let's hear your story. Whether it's automotive related or not, talking about just how you're getting to and from that side of things. So not to put you on the spot or anything, but what's your story?
I'm never gonna hear the end of this.
Oh, okay.
I'm never gonna hear the end of this.
You were I think you were I'm gonna guess here.
No.
And not that there's don't guess.
No, I'm just gonna
Okay.
tell you right now.
You are a mall guy.
You are wrong.
Oh, I'm wrong?
Yes, you are
Okay.
wrong. I was 10 years old when I got my first, when I was technically my first job.
Okay.
But they couldn't make me like technically because that's like child labor laws and
Gotcha.
stuff.
Yeah.
I worked for PetSmart, and I have the badge still, and I was the feline socializer. I went and played with the cats, and my payment was my parents got the employee discount for dog and cat food.
Oh,
That is technically my first job, but then as an actual adult, my first job, yes, I was a mall guy.
Was a mall guy.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Because I got to get out of this cat business.
Oh man, it was literally for a summer, but I had to tell that story because it's so hilarious. But yeah, I think I was going to be in the customer service side of things. I was always very social with people, and I genuinely wanted to help people out. Worked at the mall at a clothing store for a while, and then went from there, got into college, and then a job opening happened at a tire store there in the same parking lot. And it just came so naturally.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about the automotive industry, and the technicians there were kind enough to kind of walk me through, okay, this is this. And I think in the service advisor side, I think kind of that's the best way to get them is when they don't know anything at all.
Well,
in certain cases.
Yeah, there's in this industry, whether it's on the technical side of it or service advisor position, or I mean, really just about anyways, is there's a lot of bad habits that people can pick up, for sure. And so much of on the service side of this, when it comes to an advisor or consultant, or I mean, so much of it is about just customer skills.
Yes.
And then along with that, just good organizational skills. There's so many skill sets that, other than just having the depth of automotive knowledge, right?
Right.
That's extremely important. But even in this day and age, and Phil talks about this all the time, that back 30 years ago, 30 years ago, if you didn't know something, if you didn't know the answer to something, you didn't know what you were doing. In today's day and age, like, it's not a matter of there's so much depth of knowledge that these guys have to have, and all the different systems and stuff. Like, it's impossible to know everything about a vehicle.
Yeah.
But you got to know where to go to get the information. And that's what's so important. And then the other thing that I think's extremely crucial about your position, and even as I deal with customers and stuff like that, is being able to convey that to a customer, is that don't make something up. Right? Like, I don't know the answer to this, but I know where to go to get it, or I have the resources to be able to find it.
Oh yeah.
Let me get that, and get the information to you for sure.
Yeah.
Which I think is huge and crucial. So
yeah. And then the other thing is like in every situation, even though I wasn't a big automotive guy, and I had an incentive to try and help, and then the other thing is like, you genuinely want to help somebody with their issue. You want to do everything you can, and you want to create customers for life. Is a big thing with me, is that you don't want to just help them one time. You want to help them forever. And so that was something, especially in the industry, that I picked up very, very quickly. I ended up running that store within a year, and I was very young. I think I was 19 by the time I got there, and I was running it, I think, in like 2 years. So I was a very, very young guy doing that. But
So Brian
enjoy
is on our chat here, and
Yeah.
he's guessing Sears.
he knows me personally.
Oh, well,
and
there you
so,
go.
Yeah. so he knows. Yeah. I
Never
ran-
mind. He's not guessing.
No,
he knows.
He knows. But yes, it was Town East Sears Automotive, which is no longer there. And I drove by it the other day, but I can still see the skeleton of the shop. It's kind of cool. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, and ever since I've been in the automotive industry ever since, and it's definitely changed. We had a 90s Geo Metro that came in the other day that had 12-inch tires on. I was like, I can't remember when's the last time I saw a Metro, and B, when's the last time you saw a 12-inch tire?
So a very, very similar experience. Mine was actually on a trailer, so it was a little trailer, and the customer had brought the tires up, just the tires themselves, and it was a 14-inch tire. And they said, do you have any of these in stock? And I was that exact same conversation. I mean, granted, we were able to get it through our warehouse, same day, but I was like, man, I ain't seen or touched a 14-inch tire in forever. Like it's just a non-existent thing anymore. And so, Brian, since you piped up on the chat here, I guess I'm calling you out. You need to call in and say, okay, hey, what was your first job?
Yeah, no kidding. G.
Did it help you in any way in your current form of employment? Even in your example, Scotty, I think just the customer service side of things, like it translated through all of those different things to help you with some of the skills that you obviously have to have today in order to do what you do.
Yeah.
And then two, how'd you get to and from?
Yeah. I had to be dropped off at the feline socializer job.
You were 12. Okay. So,
but no, me and Brian go way back. We've known each other since before we were in high school. And so he would come up and he'd see me. So he knows my backstory. I pretty much know his. But,
gotcha.
Yeah.
But it's his story to tell.
That's true. Yeah. But no, I mean, you just there's definitely skills that you're born with, but there's definitely things that you learn along the way. And I think they just kind of get developed, especially when you've been doing it for so long. I'm coming up on 20 years of being in the automotive industry now. So seen a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah. There's and again, just going back to just every day is different, right? There's definitely headaches in this industry, but I think there's that everywhere.
Yeah.
Right? You know? And you said it best is being able to help somebody and earn that customer for life. And that's where, if you want to be good in this industry, you want to be that guy.
Yeah.
You want to be that person that, when somebody has something wrong, you're the person that they think of to help them out of whatever they have going on.
Yeah, your primary goal is legitimately to earn that trust, and turn a customer into something what I like to call a key tosser. I mean, you almost don't even have to call them to see if they want something done. They just toss you the keys and just say fix it, because I know that I can put my faith in you and trust you. You're not going to steer me in the wrong direction. And we have several of those here at the dealership. They know that we're legitimately trying to help them in every way we can.
Sure.
So
yeah, you have their best interest in mind
Exactly.
as you're working through, whatever issues they may have,
and then
as well.
Customers turn into friends.
Yeah.
That happens quite often too. And we got quite a few of those. That's why I still enjoy it. I still like it. Every day's new. It's always something different. It's always entertaining. It's fast paced, but come on, man, put your head down, get it done.
Yeah.
So,
well, hey, I'm going to repeat the question because I know we've got some folks that are just joining us here. But so the call-in question, 316-462-3673, does not have to be this. If you've got another question, you're more than welcome to do it. But what was your first job? Did it help, or are you still in that industry now, or did it help evolve skills that you use in your current form of employment now? And then how did you get to and from your first said job? So, hey, 316-462-3673. That's a number to jump on the air here with us, and we'll talk about that or anything else automotive related you want to visit about.
Yeah.
So let's get the phones ringing. So I'm going to I'll leave that table for just a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm going to shift gears here for just a little bit. I had this happen 3 times to me this week, and it's kind of it's real. It's almost like, okay, that's what we got to talk about this week.
Okay.
When you get something back to back like that. But anyways, I'll tell kind of one of the stories, and the other two are very, very similar. But visiting with a gentleman this week that had brought their car in. They were at another service facility, so it was a 114,000 miles. It wasn't a Ford. It was kind of an off make vehicle. Around 114,000 miles on it. Says, hey, I was at this other facility, and I was told that I needed brakes, and needed brakes, front and rear. They had called. How they got to us, we had not seen this customer before, but how they had got to us was they were essentially price shopping brakes,
Mm-hmm.
and found out, what our price was, and that it was the lifetime pads and everything like that. And so ended up here to have them replaced. So get involved with it. We get it in the air, start to really perform this work that they've come in and said, hey, I need this. This is what I'm after. And we pull all the wheels off and looking at all the brakes. And I mean, every one of them is probably just a little over half the pad life left on
Sixes.
every on
Huh.
every aspect of it, front and rear both. And so then it's like, okay, well, hold on, time out. Because at the beginning of this reception, the advisor just, we check it in, and the customer says, hey, I want brakes all the way around, front and rear. And so we start to visit with them a little more. Well, I had it in somewhere else. This is what they told me I need, that it was something that needed to be taken care of pretty quickly. And, then I price shopped, and this is where I ended up. And anyways, in visiting with that customer, a little more, and how much they drive. And I mean, cause they said it was, they drive 5,000-6,000 miles a year. Like the amount of brake pad that was left on these brakes for this, customer was enough
For years.
Yeah. For them to not need it. And now, again, if it would have been somebody that was driving 70,000-80,000 miles a year, something like that, I could potentially see
Maybe.
why you would want to go ahead and do
Yeah.
that. But because of how they were using the car, the number of miles that they were driving a year, but then the whole time looking at this car, because we did the multi-point inspection on it, there was a couple of other items that, like, if you're going to spend money,
Take care of this.
This is where we need
Yeah.
to spend money at, not this. And so we'll go back to that. We're gonna go to the phones here real quick, and let me see. Talk to Sabrina. Sabrina, good morning. You're on live with Under the Hood.
Good morning. So your question that you asked is, where was your first job? And so my first job was a hostess at Olive Garden.
Okay.
There you go.
And my current job is a special education teacher. And I know that doesn't seem like it connects, but it actually does if you think about it, because you are up in customer service in both situations. And you have to put on a bright and smiling face, and you have to let each new person or each new day become a new experience. And so that getting up and performing, I guess, is what I'm talking about. Because like I said, as teachers, your job is to let yesterday's stuff go and let today be a new day. And that's the same thing with each new customer when I was working at Olive Garden.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I don't know.
I think both Scotty and I can find mutual ground on that aspect. Especially in your situation with dealing with students and things like that. An negative interaction that you may have with one student, you've as soon as that interaction is over, you've almost got to reset and start over. Otherwise, it's not now fair to all the other students behind it, right? And that's, in my mind, that's
Exactly.
no different than us dealing with an upset customer or unhappy customer, whether it's something we may have control over or may not have control over or anything like that. And, you can't carry that now to the next person that you talk to, because it's unfair to have their transaction, interrupted be affected by that service for sure. And, so I completely agree with that. And as a server, I know that's got to be a huge thing as well. Something may not go just right one way or the other, and it's how it's perceived. And there's days where we get involved with stuff that it's 100% completely outside of our control, or anything that we would have to be able to affect the situation, but yet we're still right there in it with that customer. And in both those situations where you're talking about, I can see where that would definitely
100%.
transfer.
My mother is also
Well,
a teacher, and she specializes in special education too. So that's pretty cool. I've heard some
Yeah.
stories.
Oh, and it's like I said, it's every day is a new day, and you have to let everything go, and you can't let it affect you from class to class or student to student, because each kid that we work with is special in their own way. And I'm not just even talking about special education.
Sure.
Yep.
Every kid is special in their own way, and some of them require a different approach.
Yep.
And I think that's something that, honestly, like I said, I'm not saying that had I not been a hostess, I wouldn't know how to do this, but I think it helped me.
Yeah.
Because I got to see that difference in all the people that were coming in, and by being there as helping them, it just led me to helping the students that I now care for.
That's awesome.
Very good.
That's
So
great.
follow up to that is, and if you remember, great, but how'd you get to and from?
Oh gosh, I think my roommate and I we carpooled,
Okay.
There you
and
go.
so I don't remember. I think it was a Grand Marquis.
Okay.
The year, but it was a boat.
Yeah.
It was
Heck
a
yeah.
boat of a vehicle. So
That's
I was
awesome.
never worried about getting hit by anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tank.
It was more worried about, did I hit something or not? I don't really know.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Very good. Very good. Well, greatly appreciate your story and sharing that with us for sure. And,
Yeah.
I definitely think that there is a lot of connections just between different trades, especially when you're talking any type of customer service type facing deal or dealing with public. For sure, there's just a lot of skill set that a person has to possess,
Yeah.
no matter what
Absolutely.
the trade is, I guess, for sure. So
Yeah.
Well, and honestly, like I said, you just don't think about it as education being customer service, but we still are.
yeah.
We
For sure.
still have to pay. We still have to have that customer service mindset when we're taking care of the children, when we're dealing with parents, when we're dealing with admin. I don't know. It's all professionalism, and some of those things that, like I said, it starts at a very young age, and you just got to let it help you towards the future.
Awesome.
Very good. Well, greatly commend you for what you do for sure.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Have a
Thanks
great
very
day,
much.
and thank you very much for the call.
Yep, you too. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Again, 316-462-3673. If you want to call in and talk about first jobs and first jobs, does it still transfer, or what you learned from that first job still transfer into what you currently do now? But then how'd you get there? How'd you get to and from that first job? So 316-462-3673. That's the number to jump on the air here with us, and we'll answer anything automotive, or if you just want to tell your story, what that first job was and what you're doing now. So I'm going to go back to shift gears and go back to
Brakes?
my brakes and where I was at
Gotcha.
now. Again, individual driving, 5,000 miles of driving, has well over half the life left on these pads, and they were told, hey, we need to get front and rear brakes replaced on this thing. And again, looking at the rest of the car, I think going through just different mindsets. I mean, as far as the actual physical condition of everything, like there wasn't no huge major oil leaks or anything like that. But I'm looking at it from a preventative maintenance standpoint as around that 100,000 miles or 114,000 miles that I had on it, and we're going through and we're going to invest. So I'm looking at it like this. Okay, it's like you order a meal, you eat not even half the meal, and you throw the rest in the trash.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of good there that
Yeah.
was you didn't even get the use of or
Right.
the advantage of. And so I'm tying this back into a couple things. One obviously is the multi-point and how important that is, but then also going to a routine maintenance place that not only when they're changing the oil, like they're giving you a status update on kind of everything else, right? So in this particular situation, and just in visiting with the customer, kind of about where they service, and it was really just all over. So they needed service, and they would just go to whatever was convenient,
Right.
right? And so how does that person look at the vehicle? How does this person look at the vehicle? Are they checking everything over? Are they just servicing this? Are they just, what's the status of that like? But in this situation, if that person was getting routine maintenance done and a multi-point inspection done on every time they service, like you're able to get
Yeah.
the full wear out of those brakes and be able to obviously not not miss the boat and drive something too far to where you have to now spend more money to fix it,
Yeah.
but also yet get the full advantage out of the set of brakes that you have, right?
Right.
And then two, I'm thinking, okay, well, if they would have went somewhere else and somebody just would have threw brakes on it because that's what they requested, like one, that's money that could have gone somewhere else in the car
Mhm.
to uh and allow them preventative maintenance on another item that really needed it at
Right.
that time and miles. But then, two, they would get the benefit of being able to use the brakes so much more for the duration that they're still going to be good.
Right.
Right. And so, um, I was, so in this transaction, a lot of emotions obviously came. First of all, I'm kind of upset at the people that are telling them, "Hey, you need brakes,"
Yeah.
and potentially even just trying to take advantage of somebody.
Right.
So I don't like that about the industry.
Yeah.
When somebody gives it a black eye
Yes.
in that aspect, and then two, like, okay, I'm thinking of the customer and their best interest in what's the best thing to do here,
Mhm.
right? And well, right now in my mind, it's not put brakes on the car,
Right.
and from their perspective was, well, I had a little bit of extra money, I thought I would get it done while I had the extra money and stuff like that. And while I'm thinking, okay, well, if you're got money and you're looking at preventative maintenance, like we really need to be looking at XYZ and not this.
Yeah.
Okay. And then lastly, just all they would have missed out on as far as the use in a product that they already had or bought that they were not going to get if
Yeah.
they just got it replaced.
Yeah.
And so that happened on two or three different occasions this week of
Really.
just things like that. And it's like, man,
That sucks.
and it goes back to value in that multi-point inspection and having it consistently obviously checked over.
There it was.
Yeah.
You just said it. So I do have to admit something that but I have become a better advisor since going to Quick Lane. And there is something that I have noticed that all of us do down there very, very well. And that is every single person, we go over that inspection to a T because we are trying to monitor. Let's use brakes as the example. It is a lot easier for me to sit there and go, hey, your brakes are here, and then do that consistently for 5 straight services, and you can watch those brake pads slowly go down so we can prepare for replacing brakes when they need to, as opposed to, hey, oops, now you need brakes. Now they're into the rotors. You got a grinding noise, which now costs more money. And it's not just brakes; it's everything. It's tires. It's fluids. Hey, you're due at for this service in the next 10,000 miles. It costs X amount of dollars. Go ahead and start planning on this. And I mean, it's just such a better way of doing business that way. But it also just shows the consistency of every single customer knowing what to expect. I mean, just greeting a customer out on the drive this morning was, hey, you guys told me that I may be due for this. If we have time, can we go ahead and knock it out? Absolutely. My battery tested a little low last time. Can we check it real quick? Yeah, let's check it right now on the
Make
drive.
sure. Yep.
It's things like that, and I think we do a very good job down there. At least we do the best we possibly can. We do get busy. It's very fast paced and stuff like that, but it's awesome to see. And you said it, consistency
Yeah.
is extremely important. So
Well, and I think one of the biggest things too on the multi point is so the inspection itself, but then also just going over it and conveying it to a customer to the point that they understand what and why.
yeah,
Because truly you can have a cautionary item on something, and that does not mean right now today.
right, exactly,
It might not even mean the next time.
right. That's correct.
And so it's making sure that the customer understands that the communication side of that and
Yeah.
what that means and why it's that way and stuff like that. That's important.
Right, and I kind of got in a bad habit, and I would say the brakes are in the yellow. Well, to a customer, what the hell
Yeah.
does that mean? No, now it's like, okay, we have green, yellow, and red. Red means, hey, this is super important. We need to take care of it right now. Yellow is, hey, I'm trying to give you prepare you, and green is we're good.
So you go out here to a traffic light, right?
Yeah.
And it don't stay yellow very long,
No, it
right?
don't.
It's red. So
That's
when you tell me something's yellow, I need to hurry up
That's right. Yeah.
to get through the traffic light, but then
Yeah.
also to hurry up and
Right.
get it taken care of before it gets red.
Yeah.
And again, each one of those situations is different. You've got somebody that's cautionary on brakes, and that let's say they're, at a 4 or 5 millimeter of pad lining left. Depending upon their driving habits,
Yeah.
are they towing?
towing
Are
something?
They, Are they? How much are they driving in a year? That yellow pad status, again, depending upon characteristics
Right.
and how they operate the vehicle, you could have completely two ends of the spectrum on the exact same vehicle just based on the customers, what they use the vehicle for, how they drive it,
Yep.
Stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Makes all the difference for sure.
But that's what my job is to
Yes.
be able to have that communication between each individual and saying, okay, this is what's best. And that's why that trust is so important to be earned.
And I think it also goes from the customer's perspective, like enable for you to be able to do your job successfully. There has to be a I don't want to say maybe loyalty or
Yeah.
they need to come see you consistently
Yes.
in order for you to set you up for success.
Absolutely.
And that's where going from, like in these other folks' situation or scenario where they're just going wherever it's convenient to have service done whenever it's time to have service done,
Right.
like is probably not real conducive to getting that type of rapport knowledge behind the customer history or the vehicle history.
And that's kind of where I was talking about is you don't want to help a customer one time.
Sure.
Like you go to a new place, and if they don't have that mentality, they want to, I mean, that's a bad thing to say, but sometimes you get in this particular situation where they're trying to sell brakes and you don't need it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, let's go to the phones. Let's talk to Greg. Greg, you're on live with Under the Hood. Good morning.
Yeah, Josh, I've got a question.
Uh-huh.
On auto batteries, the difference between the lead acid battery and the AGM,
Mhm.
and are the AGMs worth the additional cost?
Yeah. The it's an all glass matte battery is what AGM stands for.
Absorb glass.
Yeah. And so it's essentially it's a gel instead of a liquid in that battery. From a stability, a battery stability, they are a lot better off. Obviously, they're a lot more expensive too.
Yes.
It is a lot better technology. So a lead acid battery, you know, they've gotten a lot better, but years and years ago, you know, you have the lead post around a plastic shell of a battery, and you know that gas as it heats up or charges, it's heating up and it's dissipating the fumes out of there, and a lot of times it'll dissipate it around where the plastic and lead are molded together, and that's where you get all the where your battery cable looks like a chia pet.
Yep.
And so with an AGM battery, it's a lot less susceptible to corrosion, things like that. I mean, some of these cables anymore, battery cables, you know, years ago you just be able to put a terminal end on it, but I've seen vehicles where, you know, you got a corrosion on a cable and it's a 8, 9, 10 foot cable, and it costs several $100 for the cable and stuff like that.
Not to mention, there on a lot of the newer vehicles, there's a battery monitoring system that is
Yeah.
on one of those cable ends that if it corrodes that, it it gets mad.
But and voltage is something that is so much more crucial in today's vehicles, just with all the different technology and modules that are on these
There you go.
things. Voltage is a huge thing. But yeah, the AGM batteries are a much better battery. And again, I think they're a lot more reliable. I think they last a lot longer. Again, the price of them is
Yeah.
up there a little bit more, but yeah, I definitely think it's worth the dollar value.
Especially in the state of Kansas, which a lot of a battery deterioration is change of weather. The AGMs are not as susceptible for degrading. So I think most vehicles, but at least most newer vehicles now, require AGM batteries anyways because of all the bells and whistles and modules and stuff like that.
Well, and you'd kind of hit the nail on the head too with the battery monitoring systems.
Yep.
You can actually induce an error or
problem.
a fault
Yeah.
into a vehicle if you're not replacing it with what's supposed to be in it.
Correct.
For sure. So, do you have a certain application that you're asking about, or?
Not really. Yeah, I just was curious.
They've been out for a while.
Yeah.
Those AGM batteries. I when I worked at Sears, they had a diehard platinum, and that's what that was. So I've seen those things taken apart, and they're definitely different, but they're pretty darn cool.
Well, and again, it's as it's advanced, the battery itself has become
Oh yeah.
more available, more cheaper,
Yes.
more more common for sure out there. I would tell you that if I was personally replacing a battery today and I had both options, I know I would go that way. Again, you're going to pay a little bit more for it, but I definitely think it's worth the value that you're going to pay for it. So
I agree.
Okie doke. Thank
very,
you.
very good. Very great question. So, do you want to chime in on what
was your first job?
What was your first job?
I grew up on a farm. My first job was working for a neighbor, running a tractor, an old R John Deere, no power steering, no hydraulics, no cab,
Yeah.
and 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. and they fed me lunch for $5 a day.
Very good. Okay, so can you answer me this question, because I think maybe a little bit of the same scenario. You grew up on a farm, so parents or grandparents farmed?
Yes.
Okay. So have some similar situation, but why is it that the kid then always has to go work for the neighbor to get paid?
Well, we didn't have too big a farm, and we had beef cattle, grain,
Yeah.
a few milk cows by hand, just a handful, raised chickens. Always had a couple pigs to butcher one and sell a couple just to get rid of the spoiled grain and stuff like that. I don't know. It just
I'm with you.
a small.
Yeah, I'm with you. I was jokingly saying, but
because if you work for mom and dad, those are called chores, and they are for free. If you work for the neighbor,
Right.
he has to pay you.
That's 100% where I was headed.
Yeah, that's exactly true.
Yep. That's and I think that maybe is something that has been a lost translation over the generations, I
Right.
guess.
Yes.
As my younger kids now, if they do anything, it's do I get money
Paid?
for that? No, you don't get paid for
No.
that. You're my kid. So yes.
Well, very good question, man.
And then what obviously, so neighbor, did you just ride a bike or how'd you get back and forth?
Well, I was like a freshman in high school, but we had to. The district I went to high school didn't have run buses, so I had the old family car when my dad got a newer one.
Very good.
Very
You remember
good.
what that was?
It was a school car,
Yeah.
You know the year, make, model?
55 Ford, custom line, 3-speed manual with the electronic overdrive.
Look
Was
at
it
that.
the 3-speed on the tree?
Tree?
Yeah, 3-speed on the tree,
Nice.
Very good.
Solid.
Very good.
and at 30 mile an hour, you could let up on the gas. And in first gear, if you got up to 30 and let it in overdrive, I could get that 55 Ford up to 70 mile an hour in first gear.
Jeez. Good Lord.
Very good.
That's awesome.
And like our last caller, if you hit something, you were worried about whatever you hit, not the car, right?
Yeah,
Oh, that's
they
funny.
were made of steel back then.
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, very good. Well, hey, thank you for the question on the battery, and thanks for the call and sharing your story.
Yeah.
You have a
Thank you.
good rest of your day. Thanks. Well, very good. Well, hey, again, I wanted to thank everybody for hanging out with us.
Yeah.
Scotty, thanks for coming over and hanging out.
I gotta get
Seems
back
like
to work.
Well, I know. Seems like Phil and I cannot get our schedules together for whatever reason here on this show, but
That's all right.
we will be next weekend's
Yeah.
Labor Day. So yeah, we can talk about that a little bit. Or sorry, not Labor Day, Memorial
Day weekend.
weekend, and so we will be closed on Saturday and then Monday as well. So if you're headed out of town or need to get vehicles looked at or whatever, definitely let's get you on the list and get things going there for sure. But as far as this show, I don't believe we'll be doing anything with it next Saturday, but we will be back then the following Saturday after that. But Scotty, greatly appreciate you hanging out with me.
Absolutely.
And doing the show, and it was a great show. Thanks for all the calls in and the stories and all that good stuff. And everybody have a safe Saturday, and we will talk to you a couple Saturdays from now.